If you want to store multiple values in one variable, we can use list in Python. Let us understand it with a simple example. So now to define a list, we will use the variable, like you can use any name. So here I want to now create a list, right? So the name of the list is actually names, right? So now to define the list, you can use this bracket, right? So here I'm going to store multiple names. Let's say I'm storing Ram here, and this is give comma, and here I give Shyam, right? And next name I'm going to give is, let's say, Rita, right? So now these three names actually I'm going to store in this one variable called names, right? And this is called actually list in Python, right? So how do you define a list in Python? You have to give this bracket, and you can create multiple names and store in one variable. Okay, so this is how we store multiple values in a variable using list. Right now let's try to print this list. Okay, so if I write now print, yes, and if I just use this name of the list, what is the name of the list? Names, right? So now let's run this program and see what output we get. Now do you see here, it gives you the names, all the names here, Ram, Shyam, Rita, right? And the output has also come in the bracket. So this is actually called list in Python, right? And now all this list actually, all these names actually are stored in an index, right? So now let's try to let's say you want to access this first name, which is Ram. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I'm going to erase this now because I don't need this. Okay, now I want to now print the first name. So what I'll do is I'll use the name of the list. What is the name of the list? The name of the list is names, and I'm going to use the index. So where is this first name stored? Okay, in at index 0, right? So it's just like an array. Now if I run this program, now what will I get? I got Ram, right? Do you see now here how all the names are stored in in an index, right? So first name will go to 0, second name Shyam will go to 1, right? So similarly, if you want to get the third name, you have to give here 2, right? The index will be 2 here, right? Now let's try to understand this list with a real time example, right? So now we will take another example. Yes, now we will try to create a shopping cart, right? So when you go to online, what do? You buy things and you store those items in a shopping cart, right? So we are going to create that shopping cart using a list. So for that, I'm going to use a list called cart, yes, and I'm going to create some items. Okay, so I'm going to assign some items in this cart. So first one is milk, yes. The second one is, let's say, bread, okay, and the third one is, let's say, eggs, right? So now how many items are there in this list? There are three items, right? So imagine that you are going online and you are buying certain things and you are putting in the shopping cart. Now I want to just display the items in this shopping cart. So what I'll do is I'll just use print, and I'll write here some statement here. Initial cart means I'm going to display the the items in the shopping cart, right? So what is where I'm storing these items? I'm storing this in the cart. So now you have to just write here cart, yes. So now let us run and check this now. Yes, now when I run this, do you see here the initial cart? It shows milk and bread and eggs, right? Now let us perform some operations, right? Let us perform some operations using methods of list, right? So now let us say that you have decided to add one more item in this cart, right? So now what you should do is you take the name of the list. What is the reference of this list? It is actually cart, right? So use this cart, and you have to use dot, and you can see there is a method called append, right? So now I want to use this append method, yes. Now if you have any doubt, you can just place your cursor here, and it says here it's a method, right? It's a method. Append is a method, and it it says that it adds object, it append object to the end of the list, right? So now I'm going to, let's say, add butter now. Yes, remember, if you want to add any item to the list, we use this append method, which is there in the list, right? So list provides this inbuilt method, I can say. Now I can just print here, now here print, I can say, after adding item. Now I want to now just display, I want to now, after adding, I want to now display the items in the list. So what is the name of the list? What is the name of the list? Cart, right? Okay, now just run this now. Now do you see here? I had only three items in the cart: milk, bread, eggs. Now I have got what? Milk, bread, eggs, and butter. Do you see the butter has actually gone to the end of the list, right? It has come to the end of the list because I said no, append method actually adds the object to the end of the list, right? So this is your append operation, append method in list. Now next, let's say that you have decided to remove, you want to remove an item from this list, right? Let's say you want to just take out some item from this shopping cart. So for that, we have a method called remove method. Okay, so if you write cart here, cart is my reference because my list name is actually cart, right? So you have to use this name, whatever name you give here. So in my example, the name of the list is cart. So now I will use this cart and I'll use this remove, right? Now when you say remove, okay, now when you say remove, you have to tell which item you want to remove, right? So now let's say I want to remove the second item, which is bread, right? So you have to write this, you have to give this name correctly, which is what? Bread. Okay, the spelling should be correct, right? Now I'll just now print. Now let me just print after removing the item. I want to actually see what are the content in the list, what are the items in the list. So I'll say here, after removing the item. Okay, now I'll just write here cart. Now let's run this program. Now let's run this program and see now what happens here. Yes, now you can see here which item we are removing from the shopping cart. Bread, no? So now you just see this here, after removing the item we have got only three items. Now earlier we had four, we have added one, and now we have removed one. Which one we have removed? We have removed bread, right? So now that's why, see, you don't see bread here, you see only milk, eggs, and butter, right? Now let's say that you want to show all the items in the list, right? Let's say that I want to show all the items in the list. So for that, what I'll use is we will be using one statement here. I'll write here print, I'll write here items. Okay, items in the cart. Yes, so this is a real-time example I'm giving now. Items in the cart, right? Then we will be using a for loop, right? To use a for loop, we have to use this for keyword and use the use any variable name here. Let's say you write here item, right? So item is the variable, right? Now I want to loop. I want to loop through this list. What is the name of the list here? The name of the list is actually cart, right? Because I want to display all of these three items, right, which is there inside the list. So for that you have to use for and the variable name. Okay, the variable name can be anything. X, I am writing item here because this makes more sense. So now I write item in, you have to write in keyword, right? And you have to write the name of the list, right? Then you have to use this colon here, that is the for loop syntax. Then now you need to write print here, and I'll write here item, right? Why? Because I'm looping through the list, yes, which is the cart, and I'm actually displaying one item, right? All together, like one by one I'm displaying all the items. Yes, now let us run and check. Now if you just click on this, now do you see here, there is another statement here, items in the cart, right? Items in the cart, and I'm using this for loop, and it displays all the items one by one: milk, eggs, and butter. There are three items. So if you have any number of items, it will display all of the items, okay, using for loop. Okay, now the next thing that I want to perform is, let us say I want to know how many items are there in the shopping cart, or how many items are there in the list. So for that, I can use one method, right? So I'll just write here total items. So we have how many items? Three items, right? So I'll write total items. Then there is a method, or I can say a function called len, right? Do you see here? len. So it basically means length, right? So now length function gives you the number of items in a container. So now here the container is actually what? The list, right? So what is the name of my list? Cart. So you have to just pass it here in this cart, in this len method, the name of the container. So it will count the number of items in the list, right? So now let's see now what happens. Now let me just run this and check what happens now. Now, do you see here total items 3? So now it is actually counting the number of items in the list. Yes. So we have got three items. So it is now displaying, three items in the list. Now, if you have liked my video and understood this concept, please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of the updates in my channel. And I also give coding tips, and I also have a Python beginner series playlist. So please go there and check all the videos. Definitely, it will help you to learn the Python concepts from scratch. Thank you.